Hello everyone, I'm Sampurna Roy from Greater Valley School. I hope you all are fine amidst the global crisis. I'm back with a new video for middle school students, this time with a new topic on basic biology, cells. Let's take a look at cells, the basic unit of life. Cells are the structural, functional, fundamental and integral units of life. They could be termed as building blocks of all living organisms. There are simple unicellular organisms like bacteria, archaea, which consist of just a single cell, to complex organisms like human beings, which consist of 30 trillion cells. Cell could differ in number, shape, size, functionality. Here we can see the microscopic images of animal and plant cells. Cells are often microscopic, but some, like the hen's egg, are big enough to be seen with the naked eye. To observe microscopic organisms or cells, stains or dyes are used to color their parts so that it is easy to observe their details. It is interesting to know that the cell was discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665 AD. He discovered cells while he was observing a cork under his microscope. He found that there were small room-like structures or cellula. Thus, the structures were named as cells. Here is an image of the cork cells which he had observed under his compound microscope. But Robert Hooke observed dead cells of cork. The first living cells were observed by Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Here we can see the different kinds of cells we have in a human body, like the blood cells, nerve cells, the cells of muscle, reproductive cells, to name a few. The cell theory was proposed by three German scientists, Matthias Schleiden, Theodor Schwann and Rudolf Virchow. They proposed mainly 3 points for the cell theory. First, all living species on Earth are composed of cells. That is, all living creatures ranging from microorganisms to complex plants and animals are made up of basic units called cells. Second, a cell is the basic unit of life, which means that cells are the building blocks of life. Say, in a human body, cells performing the same function together form tissues like blood. Cells form the connective tissue called blood. Tissues having the same function form organs. Several organs form an organ system like the heart, blood vessels, and the blood together form the circulatory system. And several organ systems together comprise the human body. Third, all cells arise from pre-existing cells. That means new cells are formed from the parent cells as cells can replicate and multiply. Here we can see the image of human cheek cells. Chiefly, cells have 3 parts, which are essential for the cell. Other parts are equally important, but I will elaborate them in my upcoming video. The most important part is the nucleus. It's the main part of the cell which contains the genetic material. It is usually round in structure. Its functions are mainly to control the activities of the cell and send signals to other parts of the cell. Next important part is the cytoplasm. This is a thick jelly-like substance present inside the cell, cushioning the nucleus and other organelles of the cell. Most chemical reactions of the cell occurs in the cytoplasm. The third important part is the cell membrane. It forms an outer envelope to the cell constituents. It supports and protects the cell. It also ensures that only selective substances are allowed to enter or exit the cell. Here we can see the real-life example of a cell, a hen's egg. It is visible with the naked eye. The hard external shell is the cell's hard part of the cell membrane. When the egg is cracked open, the yellow yolk is visible. This is the nucleus of the cell. The jelly-like fluid of the cell, the cytoplasm, is commonly called as the egg's albumin. On careful observation, we see a thin covering to the albumin and yolk, which is the soft or the fine cell membrane, also called an eggshell membrane. On the basis of the presence of a nucleus, cell can be divided into two main categories, namely prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells are the cells which do not have any nucleus or membrane-bound organelles. These are unicellular. There is only a cell membrane which protects the cell. Prokaryotic cells are the organisms themselves. The organisms constituted by the prokaryotic cells are called prokaryotes. The size of prokaryotes ranges from 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer. Examples are bacteria, archaea, and cyanobacteria. Eukaryotic cells have a nucleus. These are larger and more complex than prokaryotic cells. The organisms are known as eukaryotes when they are made up of eukaryotic cells. Generally, their size ranges from 10 to 100 micrometer, but some, like the hen's egg, can be seen through the naked eyes. Examples are plants, animals, and a few fungi and protozoan cells. In continuation with the previous slide, this slide holds the difference between these two cell types via diagram. To begin with, prokaryotic cells do not have a well-distinguished nucleus. Also, the nuclear material floats on the cytoplasm. Since prokaryotes were the first living things on Earth's surface, they are simple unicellular organisms. On the contrary, the diagram showing a definite nuclear membrane belongs to a eukaryote. These cells have proper, well-organized nucleus. Hence, the nuclear membrane keeps the nuclear material well bracketed from the cytoplasm. Prokaryotic cells are smaller than eukaryotic cells. Every cell type has different sizes and shapes. It is interesting to know that the smallest cell, called the mycoplasma, is a bacteria and has a size ranging from 0.1 to 0.3 micrometer, whereas the largest cell, which can be seen with the unaided eyes, is the ostrich's egg, which is 150 mm long. This slide elaborates the comparative size of a few cells on a log scale. The information shared through this presentation have been collected from these sources, which primarily includes academic or government organizations. I hope that I could provide a brief introduction to cells, which is a vital part of our life. Thank you for your precious time. Do not forget to watch my previous video on microorganisms. Stay tuned with the upcoming presentation with a more focused topic on cell biology.